Well, welcome back. This is Mark. It's been a while. I went on a trip over the summer, and I do have a new update that I wanted to share with everyone. A few months ago, I had asked um, if people wanted me to work on uh, a two-player version of the game that allows people to two different people who are not sitting at the same computer to be able to play. And I asked also for a AI opponent, and I think 18 out of 19 people asked for the AI opponent. Um, Actually, I don't remember exact numbers, but it was way in favor of the AI opponent. So it took me a while. As I've shown on some earlier videos, I've gotten that part to work. In fact, all of the missions are now set up for an AI player. I decided to kind of reorganize the game a little tiny bit to allow it to be used also now as a person against person. And I'm going to show that functionality today. It's actually it got updated so much that I actually updated the minor release to point 0.1. So now I'm at 1.1. I've been doing a lot of testing. I'm already up to zero point 0, zero point 0.2. So I'm going to show that. I'm going to show this and how it works. Okay, so now when you bring up the game, I'm trying to make things a little easier for everybody, so give everybody some options you can do. If you're already playing a game, um, remember now that I think the last update I gave was whenever you start the game, you now have to pick the type of game type. You have to pick either single map, combined game, the single map, original second fleet, South Atlantic, and Caribbean. Those are the four game types, and I'm planning on adding some more. But I took some time away from adding new maps and set up this two-player thing. So if I want to start a brand new game from scratch, I'll go through this side. My three options are I can either continue an existing game. So this lists all of the games across all of the different types. So now you don't have to pick this type in order to find the missions that you saved for that type. So now you have a list box down here. It shows all the games. You can see what type of game it is. So you can, if there were more, you'd see the other types. It also shows the current phase that the mission is in. So you can do that. So um, so what I'm going to do is so you can either continue an existing game here, or the middle part, which is brand new, or join a new multiplayer game. Okay, so um, we're not going to use this yet because we have to actually create the multiplayer game first, and then the other player would pick this or join a new multiplayer game. So, in order to display this, I actually have two versions of the game running. Okay, I have one running from my Microsoft Visual Studio. I can't remember which one it is. I have the other one running um, uh, from the actual deployed exe file that comes with the installer. So I have two versions of the game running in two different directories, and I'm going to simulate how the game would allow two people to communicate and send their game file back and forth. All right, so let's assume this is going to be the initial player. This will be the Soviet side, and this will be the Ally side. All right, so um, we're assuming that we're not continuing an existing game. We can't join a new multiplayer game because um, we've already we haven't created yet. So I'm going to start a new game. So we're going to go to combined game, and I'll start this game type. It should go now to the main menu that you're used to seeing from earlier versions. I'm going to start a new pre-built mission. I'm going to pick something small, maybe, I don't know, Damn the Torpedoes, perhaps. I'll pick Damn the Torpedoes. Now, this screen is now changed. Um, now you can actually specify more options. Okay, so now you can specify how many number of players are going to be. Are there 0 players, which is just going to be AI versus AI, which I know some people use that to kind of watch and learn how the AI works. You could have human versus AI, which is what I released a couple of months ago. You have one player but solitaire, meaning that one person plays on this particular screen, plays both sides. Um, or 2 players, multiplayer, which is brand new. If you select multiplayer, you now can pick who am I going to start as? Am I going to start as the Soviet red side or the Allies blue side? I make it Soviet red and Allies blue because I'm pretty close to releasing the ability to you don't have to pick Soviets and Allies. You can just pick 2 different sides, right? Yeah, they'll fall in on the Soviet and Allies side, but essentially you can set up your sides the way you want. Anyway, what I'll do is it'll be 2 multiplayer game. It's going to be the Soviet side. I'm going to click Soviet, and we're going to say where to start. We're going to do a quick start, so it goes right to deployment. So let's go. Now, so imagine you're the Soviet player. You're setting up the game. Likely, you might be on Discord talking with the other person, and you're letting them know, hey, we're setting up things. The assumption here is that you're going to be communicating with the other person that you're playing with, either through, you don't have to, but it's obviously easier to play when you're both playing. But this game will work just as fine if if you guys are in different time zones and, halfway across the world from each other. But as we simulated here, I'll kind of simulate the fact that 2 people are playing at the same time. All right, so um, all right, so I'm going to zoom out a little bit so we can kind of see things. I'm just going to do some deployment steps. And, all right, so let's run deployment. So I'm just going to basically randomly have these guys show up wherever, right? I'm just going to have them run their deployment logic. Okay. Notice this has also changed. Now, from this section, you can see what you're selecting. You can use your left and right buttons to scroll between all the things that you can give orders to. Okay. Let's go back till we get back to where we were. Okay. All right. And then you can use this button to go the next phase. Okay. All right. So anyway, we're just going to run deployment logic for all these guys and then pass it on to the allied player. That's the part actually that I want to show you. Okay. So we're just going to keep going back and forth. We'll just keep scrolling through these, run deployment logic. I just want them to pick some random place that they're going. All right. Almost done. And you can imagine that your other opponent, they're at a totally place, so they can't see what you're doing. Okay, and that's kind of the key. The key is that they're just waiting for you to be done with your turn and to pass the game over to them. And I'll show you how to do it. I've kind of made it kind of easy to do that. All right, so I think we're about done. I don't think there's actually any other. I think all. Does he have any? I think that's all he has. He doesn't have any planes or anything like that. Okay, so we're done. All right, so we're done. Let's check our settings just to make sure we're doing everything right. Game turn limit of 10. No AI. I'm going to turn off auto show help first time. I don't want that showing up each time. We'll keep our automatic air return to base. All right, we're done. And then from a views perspective, our view options, this is some new stuff. I'm going to leave minimize bases. I'll keep the AI info. I'm going to do no delay. Now I'll do a very short delay. When it's running its automation. All right, so I think we're ready to go. Now, a lot of these settings I just said are not ones that the other player has to go with. So the game's smart enough to know that certain settings are only for your side, and the other person would be able to set their own settings. For major gameplay kind of settings, it does lock those. You can't change those because it doesn't make sense that one side will be playing with air to sea detection while the other one doesn't. Right? That doesn't make any sense. So the game's smart enough to keep those things consistent. Anyway, so I think if we hit next, it should show what the next thing I want to show. Okay, bang. All right, so this is what you're going to see when you're playing against another player. When it gets to the point where it is now the opponent's turn, this screen will pop up, and it's separated into two sections. The first section is it's your turn to send a save file over to your opponent. Then when you've done that, what are you gonna do? You have to wait, right? So you're waiting. When they tell you, hey, the file is available, and they send it back to you, then you receive it over here. Okay, so this is kind of a dual purpose screen. That's why it's called the multiplayer handoff screen. It also it tells you what side you are. In this one, you're playing the Soviet side. All right, so now you have a couple of options here. Obviously, to make things run as smooth as possible, if you're talking with your player, if you're talking with your opponent, you may get to a phase where the other player doesn't need for you to send the file over to them because they're not going to do anything in that phase. They can just tell you, "I'll just skip it, just keep going," right? So I give you that option. So when you first hit that time where the new player it's their turn, you can either send them a file or you could skip the phase. Okay, so here it shows I can either go to the file or I could skip. And what would I be skipping? I'd be skipping up the setup phase, the deployment phase for your enemy. So since deployment phase is pretty important, the enemy is probably going to want to do your deployment. So, but again, you shouldn't be hitting skip unless the enemy is telling you it's okay to skip. Um, through communications. And again, the assumption is that you're communicating with them like through Discord, which is a great reason to join the Discord server. You can then contact other players there, and y'all can communicate and exchange game files to your heart's content. So, what am I going to do? All right, so I'm going to get the file. All right, so what happens is it goes to your mission directory. And there's now a new file here. So this is one scenario CWSAV. That's the standard file that everybody used to have for all single player games. Now, what happens is the game will produce the CW multisave file. And so this is what you're going to send to your friend, okay, to your opponent. Now they don't have the game currently, right? They don't know which game they're playing, so you're actually sending it to them. So that's where they'll use that initial option on the main menu when they first come in. They'll use this file to basically seed their game and establish that they are playing the other side. All right, so how do you send it to them? Well, you can email this to them. Or you can drop it in a text, in a chat, messenger, or anything like that. Right? It's up to you. It's however you want to get it over to them. So what I'm going to do is, since I'm playing the same person on the same machine, I'm just going to drop it on the desktop. And I've made some easy buttons to pick things up off of pretty standard places that you might drop files. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to simulate I'm sending it to my buddy by dragging it over here and putting it on the desktop. My mouse is acting up. I'm in a hotel room, so I don't have the best place to put my mouse. All right. And you can just keep overwriting the same file back and forth. So for my purposes, I'm just going to keep dropping the new updated save file on my desktop, just overwriting it each time, because you don't need it. You don't need all the other versions because the other player would their game will get updated with this information. All right. Okay. All right. So I'm going through this kind of slow, but obviously when you guys get in the pace of it and the rhythm of it, it's pretty quick to transfer these files. You could imagine me just dragging this over to a chat window or something. All right, so now let's simulate. Okay, so that's the Soviet player. So I'm going to go to my other version of the game, and I'm now acting as if I'm the Allied player. So imagine I'm the Allied player, or I'm going to be the Allied desktop, so I'm going to grab it and I'm going to start my game. So I'm going to choose this when I come into the game. I'm going to say I'm going to join a new multiplayer game because I haven't started this game yet. All right, so I'm going to hit browse for the CW multi-save file provided by your opponent using the buttons below. If you hit browse, it'll go into the standard directory that the game is installed in. I'm just giving you a couple options. This allows you to go wherever you need to go, okay, and get the file. Okay, we're not going to go there though. What I'm going to do is I gave you some shortcuts. One to go to my downloads because that's probably where the majority of people are going to grab files from their opponent. They're going to just download it from Discord or download it from a chat. It'll go to your downloads directory. If you click downloads, it'll go to your downloads and you'll look for it. I have no files here because I'm not exchanging it through the downloads. I'm exchanging it through the desktop. So I gave you the desktop as well. My desktop, bang, there it is. One scenario CW multi-save. Now I don't even think it needs to be named this. All it cares is that it's a CW multi-save file. So if you end up playing multiple games against different people and you have multiple versions of the file, sometimes we have duplicates of the files. It shows, 1, 2, 3, right? I think that'll all work. But you can try it out. All right. So if you double click on this file, it detects it. It figures out that it is a save file. It says it's for this particular session, which is the same session that I started from the other version of the game. It shows what setup, what phase you're in, and it shows what side you'll be playing. So since the other side is the Soviets, I'm the Allied side. And I also created a little thing here that when the game's running and things happen, like stuff is destroyed or detected or there's combat, it'll list these things that happened while you were away. In other words, everything that happened while the other player was doing it would show up here. Since we're just beginning, there's really no notable events here. All right, so I'm going to be playing the Allies, so I'm going to hit browse, or not browse, I'm going to hit start. And then my screen should show up, and I should go into the deployment phase. Just give it a second, it's got to load. All right, here we go. All right, so notice, right? I can't see any of the Russian stuff, but I can't see the Allied stuff. And so I'm just going to go through the same phases here, right? So essentially, it's pretty much like like you would be playing against somebody else, except you're using each of your other computer screens. Okay. All right. So I'm just gonna do some quickly deployment. I'm gonna randomly place uh, the escort group from the UK. I'm just gonna put them in a random spot. I'm gonna group them together in a group. This guy doesn't have any options. Um, you can also see what he's linked to, so it kind of gives you an idea of the types of objectives that you would be using. It's showing that this particular ship is linked to 3 different transit objectives with their VP multiple on each, 7.75, 0.5, 0.25. I'm going to go ahead and group all these guys because I added that feature, which allows you to quickly join all things together. Let's see. What do I want to do with these guys? These guys they can go to anywhere in this area here. They're linked to a couple of different deploys. They're linked to deploy U.S. escorts generic, which is just generally anywhere in this group. They also link to deploy FC export or escort, which is here. So that's the way I've set it up, right? So essentially, if the AI was running this, they would either randomly place them somewhere in this group, in this area, or they would put them into one of these hexes. All right. I'm explaining stuff that you guys probably already know, but I'm just explaining it over anyway. All right. So what am I going to do? I'm just going to randomly drag these guys, and I'm just going to have them all escort these guys. I'm not going to try to be too fancy here. Not going to be too fancy. Let's finish this, and then once that's done, I will. Come on, mouse. Mouse is bothering me. Alright. Anyway, let me group these guys. Let me group these guys. All right, so I think we're ready to go. I don't think there's any other things I have to do, so I'm ready to start the game. And this recon PC doesn't have anything to do. Not until later. All right, so I'm done. All right, now we're going. Okay. Determine weather. Oh, good. Well, good weather all around. Okay, bang. All right, now it's telling me that I am handing it off back to the Soviet player. All right, I can either, so here, this is the sub-deep mode. So, you know, your opponent can say, no, I'm not doing anything in deep mode. So I'm just going to go ahead and, so you can go ahead and skip that part. So it'll hit skip. So I'm going to hit skip just to show you that that works, right? All right, so it goes back. Now we go to pre-action phase movement. This is the ally side. There's nothing for me to do, so I am going to hit next. All right, do I want any of you guys to run at high speed? No, I don't. Although I could set these guys to be high speed, but just for the purposes of me showing you how the game works, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to hit end phase. All right, now I'm activating stacks. I've given you this activate all ships and subs here. This is a great little showing of all the little helpful things that I've added to the game to make things easier for you. So now you just hit activate all ships and subs. Aircraft you have to do individually because you have to pick things like missions and stuff, but for most people are going to want to activate all their ships and subs, so I'm just giving you that option. Okay, now it's asking, do I want to activate this Recon P3? Sure, I'm gonna send them up as an ASW patrol mission. Okay, bang, it's done. Now it's saying I'm handing off. I'm handing off to the opponent phase, which is the activate stack phase. So obviously the enemy's gonna want to try to activate stacks. So I'm gonna want to send it to him. So I do the same thing I'm doing. I say go. This this is a whole different. So this directory structure is a whole different directory structure than the other one. So I'm running it in two different places on my machine. But I'm going to keep dropping it in the desktop because that'll be our common spot we drop them. And I'm just going to overwrite the file that was there before. Doesn't hurt anything. Okay? Because that's the file that's being exchanged. All right, so now I'm going to switch back over to the other side, to the, I guess to the Soviet side. Yeah, here. All right. So now the Soviet, now you tell the Soviet, okay, it's ready. It's in the chat, so that person grabs it from the chat, drops it on their desktop, or maybe downloads it, and now they're gonna notice you have a very similar thing that you had from the opening screen, but this is how you're gonna pass the file back and forth between each other. So assume that I downloaded it, so I'm going to go to my desktop, get it, okay, and it shows very similar. It shows all the information. It says I'm going to be going into the activate stack phase. I'll be playing as the Soviet side because I am the Soviet side. No notable events. So I hit continue. Now notice if, um, so let's say that, imagine I was just finishing my Soviet move and I'm providing it and I'm dropping this file to my opponent. And let's say it's like late at night and I know that they're in a different time zone, they're going to pick it up later. So I can either leave this screen up forever until they tell me to do it, until they tell me it's ready and I grab it from my chat. Or if I just want to close the application, I give you an easy way of just closing the application. Okay. So if you guys are done playing, and you'll say, hey, we'll pick this up tomorrow, you can just close the application straight from this. But anyway, switch back to the perspective that we are. We're going to go ahead and hit continue. And so now I should be going into the Russian side. Yep, here we go. Activate stack. Okay, so now I'm playing it as the Russian. So activate all ships and subs. Yep. All right. What subs do we want to set to be full speed? I'm going to say none of them. Yeah, I'm going to say none of them. I don't want to set any of them to full speed, so we're just going to go ahead and skip that round. All right, now we're in the orders phase. All right, let's give people movement here. We'll just give everybody orders, and then we will let it fly. that was dumb. Reset movement. Okay. Who else we got? Looks like we got another ship under here. Is it this guy? Oh, here we go. He's got stuff he's got to do. All right. My mouse stinks. All right. These guys are gonna go head down here. This guy's gonna head over here. This guy's gonna head over here, and this guy's gonna head. He's gonna be, guard. All right. I think we're good. All right, we're done. Now, since it's the first round, obviously the Americans will have to go. So here we go. It says you're done. Send save file to opponent. They are now in their orders phase. I'm going to go to the file. I'm going to drag this over to the desktop, which I'm simulating. I'm moving it over by, chatting or something. Do that. Let's go to the other allies. Hit my desktop. Grab it. Continue. So as you can tell, it's pretty quick, right? All right, so all right, we're just gonna give this guy some orders for giggles. This guy's gonna be running interference here. Oh boy. Reset movement. All right, this guy is honestly I can wait for my escorts or I can try to work it through. I'm just gonna be dumb. I'm just gonna do that. I'm gonna have these guys intercept them. Okay. They're gonna intercept them. And I think we're done. Oh, this guy still has to do something. So I'm gonna send him over here. Okay. All right. All right. Now we hit go. Let's see what happens. Okay, we're moving. All right, he's done. Um, yeah. So the enemy doesn't have any orders to do, so it's just letting the Americans go. What it's going to do when you get into this round, when you have things like detections and things like that, it'll stop. Like say if suddenly the enemy detects one of your things, it'll stop the game. It'll tell you, hey, send it over to your opponent because they have something they can do. They can do. You don't know exactly what they have to do, but it could be that they ran out of orders. It could be that they detected you. You don't know, but that's fine. You shouldn't know. But you'll pass it back to them. All right. So in addition, when you're playing in this mode, um, you know, uh, in fairness, what I do is every cycle one. So when it gets to round two, cycle one, it'll automatically give you a chance to send it over to your opponent. Okay, so you won't miss more than 10 cycles that the other player is playing. Now, if you're talking with the other player and the other player knows that all their stuff's done and they don't have anything left to do, they can just tell you to skip their turn, and you can do that. So anyway, in this case, he's ran out of route maneuver, so I'm going to put him into sub search, and he'll search for 5 cycles. And I also want him to move and go in a little pattern here. Okay. All right. I'm going to reset that movement. I don't like that search pattern I did there. I just wanted him to do that. Okay. All right. So it should go 2 more cycles, and then it should automatically. Well, it'll give me the opportunity to do something, and then when I'm done with it, it'll tell me I need to pass it over to the Russians. All right. So let's try. Yep. There you go. Loop orders. All right. So it's asking me to send them over to the Russians. Let's assume the Russians are trying to. Since I don't know what's going on, and the Russians definitely want to have their chance at giving orders. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the file. I'm just going to pass it along to my desktop, replace it, close this, go to my other guy, which is the Soviets, hit my desktop, grab the file. It's saying blah, blah, blah. Continue. All right. Notice how quick it is. So I was a little worried it was going to take a long time to load a game when you reload it from a save file, and now it's pretty dang quick. So I'm happy about that. All right. So essentially, there's really nothing. I haven't cited anything. If I had cited something, it would have prompted the allied player to send it over to me earlier, but it didn't. So it's just cycle one. So it's my new opportunity to view things. I don't really have anything I want to change, so I'm good. Now, likely what's going to happen is going to send it right back over to the allies because they'll have their cycle one to do. Yippers. So we'll just do this as quick as possible. Okay. Close that. Goes the other one. Allies. Desktop. Double click. Continue. Here we go. All right. So I don't have anything I want to do. So, and I could have told, the allied player could have told the Russian, nah, there's nothing I want to do on one. I haven't detected anything. So go ahead and skip it. If there's something, so the game's smart enough to know that if there is actually something that your opponent has to do, it won't let you skip. So it won't enable the skip button. So in certain circumstances, like you might have a ship that maybe I only moved it one hex, but it has like three movement points, then once it finishes that first movement, it would prompt, hey, it's time, the enemy needs to move again, and the enemy has to give orders again, and you can't skip it because the enemy really does have to do something. So, anywho, so I'm just gonna hit go. Okay. Oh, something happened. Let's see. I bet you the enemy detected something, but I don't know for sure. So, but it prompts me to send it over to them, and I will send this over to the Soviet side. I will go to the Soviet side. I will pick up the file. Hit continue. Okay, it says reach destination, no orders. Okay, so it wasn't because something got detected. It's because of three of my uh three of my guys, or no, two of my guys. Let's see, two of my guys have movement points, so they need orders. One guy, he just reached destination. If that's all that happened, this would be something you could skip through, right? It's really just a notation to let you know, hey, this thing got there. This is not a this is not an event that forces the blocking of the skip. So, but these are actual. I do need orders, so I need to. The Soviet player needs to do something. All right, so I have one move left, so I'm just gonna kind of go like this. Boy, I'm telling you what, my ability to do mice movements is kind of compromised. All right, let's go. Okay, we're back to turn one. I don't think there's really anything to do here, but so I mean the game. This is the way the game is, right? So yes, this is quite a bit of passing it back and forth, but honestly, that is how you would be playing the paper game. You'd be passing the torch, so to speak, from player to player. Here, you're just adding in a little step of having to transfer the file. Now let's go to the allies real quick. I think that's what, right? That's right. Okay. I can't remember who was. Yeah. Okay. It also is smart enough to know that if you're in a game, a session, and you pick a save game that's not from that session, it'll give you an error message. So it won't let you do this wrong, essentially. If you pick a file and you bring it in, if it is in fact the opposite side of the proper save file, it'll allow it. It'll come here. might get an error message here that shows things like, oh, you can't load that because this is actually the file that you should have sent to your opponent, not the file that they're sending to you. So it's smart enough to know those things. So it should be pretty straightforward. And obviously, it's pretty simple. So hopefully you guys will get it. All right, so we're going to hit continue. All right, there's nothing I want to do here. This guy still has some movement to go, so I think we'll probably be okay. Let's go. All right, they moved. I'm okay. Notice this. It says I can't skip. So, so I got to send it to my opponent. All right. Well, that's what I was gonna do. I'll just play this. I'd like to get to combat, but I think you already get the way it works, right? So this really does work. One thing I added in recently is when you're passing these files back and forth. Okay, so here, what I just did is the Soviets. I'm gonna go over to the Allies. I think. Oh no, I was the Ally side. Yeah, duh. I could see it just from here. Okay, but yeah, here's the Soviet side. Obviously, it's a little confusing if I'm playing two games on the same thing, right? But you won't get confused because you only have one game up. But anyway, all right, let's go. I'm curious why it's telling me that. Okay, so okay, this guy still has movement points, so I couldn't skip. All right, so yeah, he's gonna move. I'm just gonna tell him to go like that. Okay, so that I don't get bothered by him again. Three guys reach the end of their fuel, but they don't have to be given orders because they don't technically have any movement points left. So it's not going to make you give orders to those guys. Notice that was yellow around here with the little yellow bar. These are just white little circles, meaning that. All right, what's left? All right, that's it. Let's go. Okay, it's now time to send over to our good friends, the Allies. Oh, I was going to mention something. I won't mention it as soon as I'm done with this part here. All right, so let's go over to the allies. Okay, so notice here. Um, so you may get an error message that says something like, if you and your buddy are playing, and let's say I released a new version and he got that new version, and let's say he was on version 1.1.03, and you're still on 1.1.02, then when he sends you the file, and you try to load it here, it will give you an error message and it'll tell you, hey, your game, your app version is behind the version of your opponent. That's bad, right? We don't want that, right? Because there might be some bug fix that he now has, or some new feature or new change they did to the game logic that that person has, that it that he saved it as a newer version. So you wouldn't be able to load it. You'd have to close your application, go get the new version, and then restart and get back to the spot where you can then load it, and then allow you to load it. Okay, so a lot of cool little features we added in to keep your game up to snuff. What do I gotta do? Oh, I gotta load it. Continue. All right. I don't know. Oh yeah. So there's really nothing I had to do, so I'm just gonna let it go. This guy still got some movement. I'm gonna go ahead and extend his search parameters. I'm hoping to run into a Russian or some sort. I do have it on auto return to base, so if I do this, oh yeah, see, so notice that too much, so he won't make it this far. He'll automatically start returning to base once he gets maybe over here or so. We'll see. We'll see. Do, 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 do. All right, something happened. Probably somebody ran out of stuff. Oh, it is allowing me to skip. So I'm gonna keep sending it over there because I don't want the Russians to miss a chance of firing at somebody, right? So you should only skip when you guys absolutely know that there's no reason why I need to do anything. Like let's say it's the cap phase and your opponent knows I'm not going to put up any cap. They can tell you, just skip it. I'm not planning on putting up any cap. But whatever. It's up to you guys. Whatever you does to make the game experience better for y'all. Okay, that was the allies. So I'm going to Soves. All right, so and continue. All right, new detection. Aha, I was correct. All right, so here's a good example. All right, so here we got Torp attack. So we'll show you how combat kind of works. It's going to go back and forth, right? There's phases each side has when you do a combat, right? The enemy will get a chance to reposition their stuff. So this will go back and forth between people. Okay, so let's see how that works. All right, so this Kilo class, I'm going to go ahead and attack. I'm going to hit Torp attack. I'm going to target this location. And that's about it. Let's see what happens. All right, I'm in the allocation phase. Torp attack declaration. I want to use Torp, intensive Torp, or maximum Torp. I'm just going to use Torp. Boop. All right. Now, oh, uh, oh, that's right. In Torp combat, you don't have a chance of redistributing your defense because it doesn't have any. It has no bearing on anything. So this is good. It's just gonna go straight through it, and the yeah. Anyway, so let's see here. Okay, owner maybe the target. Yeah, I'm just gonna launch everything at the Birmingham. So I'll do that. See what happens. All right. So uh, I'll put a little change here. I think since we're not playing, I think since we're not playing against AI, um, and I know that this is, yeah. So I think, but it doesn't matter. You know who attacked, right? So, but the reason why it's showing question marks is because theoretically y'all could be sitting at the same table, and maybe they might not know who attacked, right? So this sub is actually not detected. That's why it shows like that. But since you're playing multiplayer and it knows that you are the red side on this version of the interface, I can write some code that it overrides that and it shows the name. Okay, but it's not a big deal. It's just saying, hey, you don't know who attacked you, but you do because you are you. Yeah, say that 3 times fast. All right, so what happened? Nothing happened. Okay. Now, yeah, so I'm just gonna go. All right, I don't know what happened, but it's telling me to send save file to the opponent. Maybe I don't know what happened, but now what happens? Watch what happens though. When I send it to the allies, I'm gonna just do what I'm doing here. I want to show you. I think it's gonna go into update. Okay. I go back to what the allies here. I say my desktop. I grab the file. Notice it says here, notable events, torpedo combat, Soviet vs. Allies, turn 1, round 4, cycle 6. So now, if you're receiving this, you can look at this and you can tell what happened. You can tell that the Soviets attacked the Allies with a torpedo combat, and then you go, but notice it doesn't show, and it shows that you're in your order space, so you can pretty much tell that nothing happened. If it shows like some other phase, then you might know, oh, I don't know, maybe I'm gonna get damaged. But you could tell the Allied players should be able to tell from this that he was attacked by the Soviets by torpedo combat, and since I'm back in the orders phase, obviously I'm not I didn't lose anything because it would have told me that if I lost something or it got damaged. Either way, let's just go. New detection. All right, now I've detected them. So let's see. Let's do a couple of things. What I'd like to do is now this guy's launched with ASW, isn't he? Yeah, so you can't attack coordinate. But all right, one cycle. All right, so I'm going to reset my movement so that it prompts me in one cycle to get out of search mode, and I'm going to plop them right on top of them and try to attack them. But this guy, my allies TV, I'm going to go ahead and attack him. So I'm going to hit ASW attack, and I'm targeting this kilo, and it'll be just like the other side. I don't think it shouldn't go to the Russian side because there's nothing for the Russian side to do. So the Russian will get a report later on of what happened when it gets his turn. It'll keep track of all the things that happen, and it'll tell you whether or not its stuff got damaged. But let's see what happens. All right, so the Allied TF is right there. He's going to attack these guys. I'm not doing anything else for that matter, so I'm just going to hit go. Okay. All right, let's use ASW. Let's see who we got. We got 3377. So let's obviously use this guy. Let's use the 7. Let's use the other 7. Result 2, no effect. Terrible roll. Ooh. Alright. Yeah. Click OK. Alright, no orders. So now I'm going to take myself out of sub search. And I'm going to go here. So 2 phase. It might interrupt it to send it over to the Russians, but we'll see. Nope. Okay, I'm there. I'm going to go ahead and do a ASW attack. Yeah. And I'm going to target that kilo. And then I'm also going to tell them start return to base, which is a cool little feature I added in recently. If you haven't updated it, it just starts his movement back to base. So I've added a bunch of stuff to try to really make things nice and easy for you guys. Let's go. Let's see what happens. Oh man. So in this one, again, the sub did not detect from the sub's perspective, the attacker is not detected. But again, I can update this because I'm looking at it in a single player mode, multiplayer. But my game is the ally side, so it shouldn't ever hide the allies from it because the Russian wouldn't be looking at this screen. The Russian would be looking on their own screen. Okie dokie. Anyway, yes, we're good. All right. It's handing it off to the Russians. I don't know why, but it is. It's asking me to, so I'm gonna listen to it. It knows better than me, and I think we're almost about done. I think this sufficiently shows that it works, and it kind of gives you an idea how to play it. And I pretty much showed exactly how you want to play it back and forth. Um, let's go. Detection. All right. Okay, it's just because it hit round cycle 1. Okay. So by implementing this every cycle 1, it automatically gives the other side a chance to react. Allows stuff won't happen. You won't lose. You won't have a situation where essentially it's out of your hands and you don't know what's going on, and the enemy is is not sending it to you. Right. You also know that if it skips, if you notice that a couple of rounds went by and you didn't get your turn from your opponent, then you also know that they were skipping, which is bad, right? And then you can yell at them or not play with them anymore. All right, so there's nothing left for these guys to do. I'm just gonna hit go, and it wants me to send it back to the Americans. I'm gonna go ahead and pause here. I think I've now shown. So essentially, I think it's pretty self-explanatory how this works. I think this adds a whole new way of playing this game. Hopefully, you guys like this. I think please join the Discord server. I think that'll make it very easy to find opponents, and it also gives you a very easy way of communicating with people, right? So, for instance, here's the Discord, right? And you can have direct messages with people right here, and you can like drop files, and so you can basically be doing that. And since it's Discord, I think I can actually be talking to the person at the time. So you can actually like just be talking to the person, going through the game, saying, "Hey, I just dropped the file. Okay, I got it. Thanks. Okay," etc., etc., etc. Right. So that's pretty much it. Hopefully you like this. I'm gonna post this up on YouTube and do a post on Facebook. Let me know if you'd like additional features. This is really a passion of mine, so I'm really hoping that I get a lot of people playing the game. It really makes my I get very satisfied knowing when people are having fun with the game. So until next time, I'm gonna go ahead and stop, and I'll see y'all in the next video.